High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello, welcome to Overtime. I'm Drew Collins.
And I'm Scott Lever. It's Friday night, our favorite time of the week, and our chance to once again showcase some excellent high school basketball in the state line.
We have tonight's full slate of Nick 10 boys action covered. Could Guilford and Auburn keep rolling at the top? Plus girls Nick 10 games from Boylan and Auburn.
We also have boys' big northern matchups in Oregon and Byron, and we'll spend a few minutes with the head coach of the Pecatonica girls team, Daniel Rosensteel. And in our Spotlight segment, we feature a Harlem Husky whose name is all over the school's record books, Mateo Pereira. Well, as this regular season winds down, only one Nick 10 boys team has defeated the Guilford Vikings this season. That team is Belvedere North.
The Blue Thunder surprised the Vikings back on January 13th in double overtime. That game was played in the Fizzer Forum in Milwaukee, where the Bucks play. Odds are that game was still fresh in the Vikings' minds going to tonight's rematch. It's the Gillies heating and air conditioning game of the week. Brandon Chapman was sidelined with the concussion, so Keeson Taylor took care of the rock, draws the double team, and dishes it over to Cordell Spencer for a triple. Here's Taylor again. Just clear out the way. Here comes the 10th ranked football recruit in the entire state. Just lower the shoulder and the rest will take care of itself. Here's a quick 2 of 14 points from Nathan Alexander. He led the Blue Thunder tonight. Belvedere North trailed by a wide margin, but the sophomore Austin Hackworth drilling a deep three-pointer. Back to Guilford, Kyrie Johnson. After some nice ball movement here, he's going to drill the three-pointer. And hey, look at the student section. They were pleased with that. This was the Jordan Lopez game. He's going to put this one away. He finished with 19 points. A short-handed G-Vikes team still takes it 57-46.
Auburn has been trying to keep pace with Guilford. The Knights were at Jefferson tonight. Amir Danforth. Here he comes, the nice dish out there. It's Darian Royal hitting that three ball and the and one to go with it. Danforth next will show off his range. He will get a friendly bounce in from the 3 points. The Jayhawks, Malachi Robinson rushes into the paint, puts the teardrop up and banks it in. Grant Stokes showing some separation. He'll hit the jump shot, nothing but net there. The Knights champ Parker patiently waits, draws the foul, the bucket and one. And now the steal by Myquan Marshall. Man, I love the way he's elevated his game this year. He's terrific. Auburn defeated Jefferson 75-49. Hononegah is 0-3 this season against Guilford and Auburn. The Indians are undefeated, though, against the rest of the conference.
They tried to keep it that way tonight. They hosted Belvedere. Tyler Sorensen joins us with the story of that game. Tyler?
Yeah, guys, this is the second time of the season that the Indians and Bucks have played each other. Hononegah won the first game about a month ago, winning big by 30 points. But Belvedere would start out scoring first, especially with athletic plays like this from senior Demetrius Taborn over 2 Hano defenders. Hononegah answering right back with a Caleb Hart 3-ball. And now we showed him scoring from range. How about in the lane as he drives in and hits the floater? He would finish with 9 total points on the night. But Hononegah was jumping for joy as Romeo Villarreal gets them and goes up for the layup. But then this became the Demirie Briggs show, starting with this finger roll for 2. But then on the defensive end, shaking the backboard with this block. And hey, why not reward him? Give him another layup right at the baseline going up to the block. Now Oba Fashilojo with the ball, and hey Houston, we have takeoff. Lobbing it up to Briggs for the slam. He would finish the game with a game-high 20 points and 2 blocks as Hononegah cements the win over Belvedere 63-40. Now this game truly showed the athleticism of both these teams. And while Hononegah won by 33 points, this game is one that you had to physically see to believe. Guys, back to you.
All right, thanks, Tyler. We continue in the Nick 10 with Harlem hosting East. It was a packed house, and when Jaden Slocum drilled the game's first points, the arena erupted in joy. Mateo Pereira spams a snatchback 3-ball combo move like a cheat code, and it is just unstoppable. Do you blame him? Check out the East freshman, Jelani Crawford. He's already 6'5", and look at the mid-range fade. I mean, that is just really nice post work. But his teammate, Brian Harper Jr., led the way with 18 points, and check out the strong finish in traffic. Marquise Goldsmith was out there hustling all game long. He snags a steal and grabs 2 points off of it. Let's go back to Harper Jr., deep in his bag. What a move, and he drills it. East led, but look at Pereira doing all he can to keep the Huskies in it. He finished with 18 points. And here's junior Devontae Gordon grabbing a nice little slam before it's all said and done. But right back to Harper to wrap things up. I mean, just check that out. Nice in his bag. The Rabs win it 63-54.
Boylan traveled west to Freeport. The Titans had a strong win Wednesday night against Belvedere North. Keziah Moorhead open, and he's on target from the front row of the bleachers. Madden Fiora for the short jumper. That's good for the Titans. Fiora again going to spin inside, take some contact, and still scores the bucket. Let's get back to Keziah Moorhead. What a night for him. He hits the short jumper, and then Moorhead again with the long jumper. That's a beauty. KZ scored 30 points. Freeport edged Boylan in overtime, 79-76. So the top of the Nick 10 looks like this now. Not much has changed. Guilford still with a slim lead at 14-1. Auburn in second at 13-2. Hononegah third at 12-3. And East has reached the 500 mark at 8-8 to take over fourth place.
Nick 10 girls teams also took the court tonight. Boylan hosted Freeport. Let's jump to the second quarter. Carolyn Benz dishing it to Bailey Westland. She drains the three ball. Freeport shortly after has Aaliyah Martin going all in for the layup just before the halftime buzzer counted. In the third quarter, Westland kept the train moving, chugging along for another three-pointer. But Freeport won't go down silently. Here's Keegan Huggins doing everything she can to get it up and in, and she will get it. Back to Boylan. Adriana Salamone will seal the deal with a nice bucket here in the corner. The Lady Titans take it 53-47. At Auburn, the Lady Knights hosted Jefferson. First half, Destiny Robinson. Hey, don't blink. Nice bucket there. Jefferson's Atlanta Moorhead shows her athleticism, draws the foul, and one. Maria Quigley makes her way into the paint, and she'll grab 2 points for herself. Second half, Julia Coates going through the defense, and nice finger roll there. Fast break time for the Jayhawks. Moorhead, spin cycle. Nice little move off the glass for two. Destiny Robinson finds her spot. Finds her spot. Three ball, drains it, no problem. Auburn defeats Jefferson 58-50. Also in Nick 10 girls games, Harlem beats East 56-25, and Guilford defeated Belvedere North 69-42. Coming up later, boys, big Northern highlights and our Spotlight feature story on Harlem's Mateo Pereira.
Up next, we're talking Pecatonica girls basketball with head coach Dan Rosensteel. Peck coming off a state championship 1 year ago.
We had a state championship basketball team from the state line last season. That was the girls team at Pecatonica, the 1A state champs.
Led by the state's 1A player of the year, Elena Rager. She's playing college ball now at Wright State. Meanwhile, Pecatonica is doing more than fine this season without her. The Indians have won 20 games and they're tied with Dakota for first place in the NUIC North. Let's learn more about the Indians with our head coach, Daniel Rosensteel. Daniel, every time I walk in this gym, my eyes go up to that big championship banner hanging from the rafter over there. How often do you gaze up at that thing and go, wow, we really did that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think, obviously every day it's something you see and you take pride in, just like the sign outside. It's something that we'll always cherish and will always be remembered, especially at our school being, the first one in the school's history. It's something that we definitely look at, but it's also kind of a motivational thing for our girls, and for our programs to keep chasing and want to, put more up there like all the other good programs in the area. So,
you lost two All-State players in Kiana Degner and Elena Rager and some other good players like Peyton Thomas. So normally a team in that situation would be going through a bit of a rebuilding phase, but you brought back some pretty darn good talent too. So considering all of that, and you've had some bumps through this season, but at the same time you're going to have 20-plus wins, maybe win the conference championship. So has this season kind of played out like you envisioned it would?
I think every year is so different. You go in, every team sets goals. Obviously, you name the kids that we lost, and they're, you can't replace those individuals and who they were. But I think the nice thing for our group is like we came in and this group made it about themselves. They said, you know, we have standards. They have individual standards that they wanted. And those two sophomores that were freshmen, Cora and Riley, have really done a good job leading. And then some of our seniors like Amani and Delaney and Anna, you know, they were all a part of that team. So I think the season has gone kind of how we expected. You know, we take it a day at a time and, you know, we treat every opponent the same. And we knew we were going to play really good teams to hopefully make us better for the end of the year. And so far we've been able to win some of those games, and we've also learned in some of the games. And that's the biggest part, is learning along the way, winning or losing. As long as you're learning and getting better, that's what you want. And I think that's been a key for us to be successful this year too. So.
Elena Rager was probably the best go-to player in the state last year at 1A. When you needed that big bucket, that big play, that big spark, she was going to provide it for you. How has the team adjusted to not having her on the team, or is that still an ongoing process?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we're starting to kind of, you know, the girls are starting to kind of buy into the roles individually and collectively. They're starting to kind of feel out like what girls can do. Obviously, you can't replace Elena. She's a different level scorer. But I think Riley and Cora, obviously, you know, they get a lot of the attention and a lot of the shot attempts. And I think not only for them to learn how to score, but how to keep shooting, right? Like as freshmen, they've been our go-to this year. As freshmen, they probably only took, you know, maybe 6 to 8 shots. This year, they're doubling those attempts. So, you know, maybe you don't shoot the ball as well and you keep shooting it, right? Like you're getting more attempts. That mindset is something that those two have had to learn and work through as well, right? Like it's not always going to go good, especially if you're taking a lot more attempts. Some nights it's good, some nights it's bad. And I think the biggest thing for them is they've grown and kind of come into that role of like being our go-to scorers, but also learning how to get other players involved as well, like Ava Ackerman, Amani Boyd. And I think when we have that balance, we've been able to beat some really good teams, and that's what's made us, you know, be able to win those games. So.
Defensively, you're giving up only like 31 points per game. Your defense is phenomenal. On the offensive end, it seems like you don't have that true point guard at the moment. The perimeter shooting might be a little hit and miss spotty. So what do you guys have to do on the offensive end in order to have some success on that side of the ball?
Yeah, so our defense makes us who we are. It's been that way all 4 years, and that's a good thing. You obviously can always play defense regardless of how you're playing on offense. But on the offensive end, I think the biggest thing is when we play inside out and we get our post players involved and, you know, they're taking attempts just to keep the defense honest, I think that's when we're at our best. Especially it frees up Riley and Cora, and then it also allows our other guards like Maddie and Haley to kind of get out and transition off of steals, and that's a good way to get some points. You know, you're not having to be set the entire game doing half-court offense.
Cora Naud had 30 points in the season opener at Polo. I was at that game, so she was on fire right out of the gate. Now, she's not averaging 30 a game, but she's still really giving you a nice offensive spark. You got to be real pleased with Cora's development this year.
I'm so proud of her. I think the biggest thing from the jump this year that she's done is she kind of taken on that, like, just being aggressive regardless of circumstance, you know. And I think she's also learned this year how to get other players involved. So at the beginning of the year, it was kind of like all I think she was focusing on was like, I'm scoring, I got to score. But at the same time, you have to take good shots that are within the confines of the offense and trust the other players. And I'm so proud of her.
If I was picking an all-defensive team based on all the girl players in this area, Riley Alexander's in my top 5. Tell me about her makeup and her willingness to play that hard-nosed defense.
Last year we said it, I thought she was the best defender in the state last year in 1A, and you know, she kind of made us go. I know Elena and Kiana got the credit for the scoring, but Riley really did a good job guarding people, and it's been that way this year too. I think what makes her so good is she's just kind of an all-around basketball player, and she has such good instinct. She does a really good job kind of like dummying people into thinking they can make certain passes, and then she'll jump it and go. And I also think she's very intelligent, and you can see it like the way she rotates in full court and in the half court, and her positioning with her body is really good, and she's just a really elite athlete and a really, really good kid and a really good defender. And I think when you couple all the skills that she has with her brain and her ability, it makes her, you know, probably not very fun for a lot of people to face, and it's a good thing for us.
And Daniel tells me Pecatonica has some good talent coming at the lower levels, so Pecatonica's positioned pretty well for the future.
And they're only starting one senior this season, so they should be very strong next season. All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, we'll take you to Oregon and Byron for Big Northern boys games. The Big Northern Conference is very balanced this season for the boys. A lot of teams are right in that 4-2 and 4-3 mark in conference play.
And the one team that stands above the pack is Byron. The Tigers were 6-0 in the conference heading into their home game tonight against Dixon. The Tigers were also riding a 7-game winning streak overall. Heads-up play coming up underneath the far basket by Byron's Kason Newton. He's going to save the ball off the legs of a Duke player. Terrific move there. Now, this is a very big night for Newton. Here he is going one-on-one, and He wins that battle easily. Dixon's Armand McGowan gets a lay-in. I'll tell you what, all the McGowans down there in Dixon, they can really play ball. Let's get back to the man of the night, Cason Newton, and admire his work. What's it going to be, the drive or the jumper? It's the jumper, and it's good. Newton scored 32 points, and he passed Ryan Tucker as Byron's all-time boys leading scorer with 1,599 points. Well done there, Cason. Byron won it by 20, 75-55. At Oregon, the Hawks hosted Rockford Lutheran. This figured to be a close one, and I don't normally show free throws unless the game is on the line, but check out Keaton Salisbury's free throw here in the second quarter. It's just going to sit up there a while. Then gravity takes over, and he's got a point. He'll take that. Love that. Still in the second quarter, it's Brian Wallace from the Rock River. A 6'6 senior has it. Next, it's Noel Campos sinking the jumper from out front. Oregon led by 8 at halftime. Well, let's mosey on over to the second half. Salisbury. Here he is knocking down the three. He scored 10 points for the Hawks. But you cannot ever count out the Satyrs with their great three-point shooting. Evan Kroll sinks that one. Mason Keller will hit this one. He scored 12 points. Cooper Johnson going to show us how to execute the turnaround jumper. Oh, that's textbook. And now he's going to show us how to do the step-back jumper. That's right there. He led the Hawks with 16 points. Oregon defeated Lutheran 63-50.
Before we do anything else, it's time to reveal our Athlete of the Week.
Our finalists this week were Belvedere North's Nathan Alexander, Lena Winslow's Miles Mann, Marley Olderman of North Boone, and Paxton Barger of Stillman Valley.
And the winner is Paxton Barger. The Stillman Valley freshman has a fan club. He received a whopping 54% of the votes. Congratulations to Paxton on being selected to our Athlete of the Week. Don't go away. Our Spotlight feature story is up next.
He is one of the premier scorers in the NIC 10, Harlem's Mateo Pereira. Records are made to be broken. Mateo Pereira is just the guy to do that at Harlem this season. He's put himself right up there with the school's best ever when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. We feature him in our Spotlight segment, brought to you by Rockford Career College. Mateo Pereira comes from not a basketball family, but a baseball family.
I'm the only basketball player in my family. Everyone in my family either played baseball, and I used to play baseball when I was a kid, but basketball kind of just took over.
And what a basketball player he's become. Pereira is averaging more than 18 points per game. He was made for the three-point aspect of basketball. His favorite player is Steph Curry.
He was definitely like someone I looked up to as a basketball player growing up, especially seeing him and, you know, him going 73-9 and him just shooting. I feel like our play styles are really similar.
Pereira has set Harlem records for most three-point baskets in a season and most three-point baskets in a career. He's worked at it.
And I'll be in the gym every day with my dad, you know, getting up shots, hundreds of shots every single day, just working on my form, working on off the dribble, off the catch.
Pereira isn't solely a perimeter scorer. He's very skilled at finishing at the basket. 3 times this season, he's scored 31 points or more with a high of 36 points in a game against Dixon. That was one of those games where he was in what I call the Teo zone, when he knows he's got it going and the shots are falling. What's that feel like for you?
It usually just happens. Like it comes to me naturally. I have fun playing the sport. That's always what I try to do. Have fun, and then the game will come to you. So that's when I feel like I'm in the zone, I'm just unconscious.
Are you comfortable with when he does get in one of those hot streaks for him just to keep launching it?
We have had several conversations over the years about good shot, great shot, not a good shot. We do systems like green light shooting and stuff like that, so we track that. He has the green light for sure.
Like Steph Curry, Pereira moves well without the ball to get to spots where he can get open and launch threes.
That's how I get open. That's how I get up my shots, and you know I realized that at a young age.
I tell him all the time, if you throw the ball to a teammate and you start running around setting screens and stuff like that, they know you can score. They're going to get it back to you. They want to win just as bad as you. But I've also seen a lot more willingness when he's at 28 points the other night. He wanted 30. He gave the ball up at the end of the game twice to teammates. So there's a very huge maturity that I've seen in this last year and trust in his teammates.
Pereira has been climbing Harlem's scoring chart all season, moving his way into the top 5 and then the top 3. Coming into tonight, he was 21 points away from passing Mike Floyd as Harlem's all-time leading scorer. What will that mean to you, to be the all-time scorer in Harlem high school history?
I mean, it'll definitely mean a lot to me. I mean, I worked really hard every single day of my life to get to the position I am today, and breaking that record is definitely will show like how much hard work I put in.
And after Pearl's performance tonight, he is now 4 points away from becoming Harlem's all-time leading scorer.
Harlem's next game will be next Wednesday at home against Guilford, so Huskies fans, you might want to get out there for that one. We'll be right back. All right, it's time for our Napleton Auto Group Play of the Week.
The top play caught on our cameras, Belvedere against Hononegah. Oba Fasalojo, here he comes with the lob to Demarie Briggs, slamming the door shut. One more look, because once is not enough for Hononegah fans, or for me, or Drew. Yeah. Oba starts it, Briggs finishes it, and that's our Napleton Auto Group Play of the night. Okay, we're going to be right back here again next Friday night on Fox 39 at 11 p.m., immediately after GN Sports.
And a reminder, you can find our highlights and scores anytime on our website, mystateline.com. That does it for this show.
Enjoy your weekend.